Hello and welcome to Human Movement Method's Daily Spinal Routine. This is a mobility routine for people that suffer from chronic pain and chronic lower back pain. So if you find that you have a difficult time with regular exercise, and whenever you do kind of standard fitness protocols, you find yourself having imbalanced muscular pain and soreness, or you're finding it very hard to get started with a regular fitness routine due to chronic pain and lower back pain, I would recommend doing this routine for a week or two on a daily basis and see how you feel. Our goal is to help you get moving so that way your pain is reduced and you can begin strength training in a low impact way. If you'd like to learn more about Human Movement Method, you can go to the YouTube channel or humanmovementmethod.com and you can learn all about our program and ways that you can work with us. So for today, what you're gonna need is a light resistance band, a yoga mat, and a yoga block. By the way, you can get all this stuff at Five Below in America, or you can order it from whatever your online purveyor is, but it's pretty locally easy to get and it's pretty cheap stuff. So hopefully that will lower the barrier to entry for most people. What we're gonna do is start with a series of movements on the ground. The first one is gonna be laying on our back. It's called a lower trunk rotation. What I'm going to do is lie down on my back. I'm going to let my shoulders lay flat on the ground. I'm gonna have my hips flat and my knees and my feet on the ground. I'm gonna take my yoga block. I'm gonna pinch it between my knees. Now, if you're a beginner, you can keep your feet on the ground and do this. What I'm gonna do is keeping both shoulders on the ground the whole time with my palms up. I'm gonna look one way and let my knees fall the opposite direction and then go the other way. If this is not a challenge for you and you'd like to try something that gets you a little bit more mobility and a little bit more strength, I'm gonna pick my knees up to navel level. And what I'm gonna do is let my knees fall away, keeping my knees together, squeezing the block the whole way through. I'm gonna look the opposite direction and then go the other way. And I'm gonna keep my shoulder down. If my shoulder comes up, I've gone too far. So we're gonna fall to the left and to the right, alternating for 10 repetitions. So I'm gonna go 1, 1, 2, 2. If you feel sharp pain or discomfort, try to stay inside your frame of tolerance, meaning stay inside a range of motion that is comfortable, that does not affect your breathing, doesn't make you wince, doesn't make you feel in pain. We do not want to go into a pain place. We want to keep our bodies moving inside of our frame of tolerance and at a certain comfort level. We're not here to beat our body into submission. We're here to gently open things up. I believe we're on 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10. Excellent. Now we're going to take the block out. We're going to roll onto our side to get up to protect our back. And we're going to go to a hands and knees position. From here, we're going to do a movement known as the wiggle. The way the wiggle works is I'm trying to side bend to stretch this side of my body. I want to keep a pretty neutral position. I can be on my fists or on my hands, and I want equal weight on my hands and knees. From here, I'm going to turn my feet one direction, and I'm going to look over my shoulder at my feet, trying to keep a neutral spine. So not a big arch in my back, not rounding, not dropping my head, but just turn, turn, just like so. So we're going to go 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10. Very good. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to sit back. We're going to cross one hand across the body so that it lines up with the other knee in kind of a modified child's pose. So my right knee is in line with my left hand. My right hand is going to tuck back toward my hip, and I'm going to lower my head down to the ground. Then I'm going to rock forward, putting my hands side by side. I'm going to let my body side bend. I'm going to look over my shoulder at my feet and then come back again. I'm going to go 1, really reaching down and crossing my body. Coming up, 2, reaching back. 3, squeezing my glutes to protect my back. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we're going to sit back into child's pose, cross over the other way. Now from here, I'm going to come forward, squeeze and look back, come back down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and remember, we want to stay inside frame of tolerance. 9, 10. Very good. Now we're going to sit back into child's pose and do a movement known as the seesaw. I'm going to start here. I'm going to roll my body forward, squeezing my glutes, keeping my arms on the ground, chest is presented high, and come back. Now it's important that you stay on the outer heel of your palm and not putting pressure on the thumb pad. Also, if this is uncomfortable, you can use push-up stands or you can use fists. I'll demonstrate it with fists so that people can see, but you may also find that that's not very comfortable and you may prefer to be on the palms of your hands. So I'm going to sit back, come through, squeeze my glutes. 1. I also want to make sure that I'm rolling my shoulder blades back. 2. And looking forward, not up. 3, because we don't want to put undue pressure on the neck. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Very good. Now we're going to go ahead and switch to something I call the pigeon tilt. So this is very similar to a yoga movement. If you've ever been in yoga, there's something called the pigeon's pose, where I bring my leg across in front like this. And you can be anywhere from having your shin straight up and down this way to your heel tucked right into your hip. It just depends on the person and what your mobility level is. But commonly what will happen is this hip is off the ground. So I'll switch sides so you can see, so right now this hip is off the ground. What I'm going to do is sit back until I feel some tension in the hip. And then from here, I'm going to bend away from that hip and try to tap the ground with that hip and come back. So I'm going to go 1, come back. 2, come back. 3, come back. And as I loosen up, I can change the position of my leg. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'm going to switch sides. So bring the leg in, tuck it up and in. I'm going to try to tap that hip to the ground and side bend away. 1, 2, keeping my arms locked. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're going to get into a movement that's known as a rotational lunge. So I'm going to take a step forward with one leg. The other leg's going to be back. I'm going to start in this stable position. I'm going to place my hand in line with the bridge of my foot, either on my fist or my hand, whatever's more comfortable for you. And if both of these are really hard, you can use your block as a bolster to be higher. So it just depends on your own personal range of motion. From there, I'm going to bring that back leg back until I start to feel a stretch in the inner thighs. From there, I'm going to push my knee out, place my hand on my head, tuck my elbow down toward my belly button, extend up and open like so. So let's walk through it one more time. Step into it. Hand goes in line with the bridge of the foot. Knee flares out. Stretch in the hips. Externally rotate the rear foot. Hand on head. Tuck. Open. 1. Keeping the hips forward the whole time. 2. Trying to straighten myself up. 3. As I open. 4. 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we're going to switch sides. Other side, foot goes forward, hand goes next to the other, pushing the knee back until I feel an internal stretch. I want my knee over my ankle, knee flares out, hand goes on head, tuck, open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. Now we're going to grab our block and we're going to stand up. Now what we're going to do is take our block, we're going to place it between our knees about hip width apart. I'm going to step back slightly on the ball of my foot with one leg. I'm going to have my hands up in what I call the T-Rex position. And from here, I'm going to take my opposite hand and I'm going to try to touch the top of my foot. Now, if you're first beginning, you can start with your knee by hinging. Then you can hinge at the hips to touch the center of your shin and work your way down to the top of your foot. The key here is that as I move from the hip, I keep my back neutral. And as I turn, what you'll notice is this knee turns in and pushes this knee into external rotation. This is really important later. So we're going to practice staying stable, keeping this knee slightly externally rotated, putting pressure through the big toe, and coming back up. I'm also doing a secret little thing where I take this elbow and keep it tucked really, really close to my pelvis. So there's a little side bend in my spine. 1, 2, 3, and a slight flex in the knee for what I call a soft lock. 5, don't be surprised if you feel this on the back of your thigh, your glute, or your lower back. 6, but make sure you're staying inside. 7, your frame of tolerance. 8, 9, 10. Awesome. Now we're gonna bring the feet together. Take that slight split stance. Same thing, I'm gonna push my toes into the ground, drive down, touch, come back up. 1, 2, and I'm squeezing my glute as I come up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. So now we're going to take that out. And what we're going to do now is grab our light band. We're going to do a movement I call over the top. With the light band, we're going to grab it a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. We're going to place a little flex on it, like so. I'm going to lean forward onto the balls of my foot, squeeze my glutes, pull my head back, pull my shoulder blades back. From here, I'm going to go over the top of my head, nice and slow, opening up my chest, and then coming back over. So we're going to lean into it, hold that position so you don't overarch your back. So I'm going to go over, 1, 2, 3, try to hold the head in a neutral position, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, just like so. Then we're going to go and use the wall. The wall is going to be our best friend for the next movement that is known as the lunging side bend. Now, I'm going to show it in both directions, but the key here is to understand that I'm going to start far enough away from the wall that I lean onto the wall and my weight is leaning that way. From here, I'm going to step forward with my outside foot, back with my inside foot. I'm going to rotate this rear hip forward and squeeze my glute. I'm going to rock into the front knee until I start to feel hip flexor stretch on the inside. That's this leg in the front of my hip. And I'm going to pull my elbow down to my side, holding that position, also flaring the knee out. We're going to hold that for 10 seconds. So let me walk you through it again. Lean to the wall. Step forward with the outside foot. Back with the inside foot. Rotate the hips. Squeeze the glute, drive into the front knee until I start to feel a hip flexor stretch. And then from here, I'm going to pull this elbow down, side bending away and squeezing my glute so I feel a hip flexor stretch in the front. I'm going to hold that for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then I'm going to unside bend and come out of it. Now we'll do the other side. Lean to the wall, step outside foot forward, inside foot back, rotate the hips, squeeze the glute, rock into the front knee till I start to feel a stretch, side bend by pulling the elbow to the pelvis and hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Unbend, stand back up. Now we're going to go to the ground and we're going to do what is known as a neck side bend. Now, for this, if you have a hard time holding yourself up, you can place something underneath you like a foam roller or a block for support. But I'm going to stack my knees on top of one another. I'm going to place my elbow directly under my shoulder, not up here like this, directly under my shoulder. I'm going to push into that shoulder for support. I'm going to take the other hand and tuck it behind me. From here, I'm going to let my ear fall away and I'm going to pull to my opposite shoulder. That's going to be 1. So fall away, pull to the opposite shoulder. 1. We're going to lengthen on the way down and strengthen on the way up. 2, fall away, up. 3, fall away, up. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then we're going to switch sides. So we're going to switch to the other side. I'm not going to use the bolster this time. You can if you would like to. I'm going to place the elbow directly under the shoulder, knees stacked right on top of one another, arm tucks behind the back. I'm going to fall away and come up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we get to sit up. Now, what I would recommend is drinking lots of water after doing this, because you've moved the fascia in your body around and we've hydrated a lot of things by moving. This is the instructional video. There will also be a quicker follow-along video that will be a warm-up to many of the exercises that I do with my clients. But also at the same time, once you get used to doing this and you don't want to hear all the instructional stuff, you can just go through the follow-along video and it should take less time. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the section below. If you like our material, please like and subscribe. We'd like to get this information out there to help people that are in pain. If you'd like to learn more, go to humanmovementmethod.com. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. There's all kinds of information out there. So thank you for joining me.